Okay, hello everyone. My name is Bryan Lim and my group member name is Kendrick Foo. And today we will be presenting about our assignment, which is the fundamentals of computer networking. And the purpose of this assignment is that we will play as a line engineer for the EQUAD Go Logistics Sdn Bhd. And throughout this presentation, we will be briefing through the network topology diagram, the addressing design, the addressing table, the network configuration, the pin connectivity, and the digital resources. So for the topology, we uses the star topology, which is the router play as a central device for the networking for the LAN. And in this topology, we designed four separated locations with different colors. The first location is the operation department. The second location is the warehouse management, the human resource, and the finance and accounting department. The third location is the customer service department, and the last location is the logistics and distribution department. Okay, for the subnetting table, we uses VRSM subnetting, VRSM cluster subnetting. So in this table, we will be implementing the location, the department, the number of host addresses, the needed host, the total host, the required host, the host bit, the prefix, the subnet mask, subnet address, the first usable and last usable address, and lastly the broadcast address. So allow me to brief through the largest subnet, which is the location A. And the number of host address for location A is 40. The needed host for location A is 44 since 10% growth for first and second largest subnet. The total host for location A is 46. The required host for location A is 64, which you can use 2 power 6. And the host bit comes from the required host 6 host bits. The prefix you can use the /32 minus host bit, which /26. The subnet mask you can calculate from the prefix. The subnet address, we use class C subnetting, which is 192.168.1.0, and the broadcast address is 192.168.1.63. The first usable and last usable address can be calculated by incrementing the subnet address by 1 and decrementing the broadcast address by 1. Okay, so why we uses VRSM cluster subnetting over FLSM cluster subnetting? The reason is very simple. It's because VRSM subnetting, it will reduce the wastage of IP address compared to FLSM subnetting, and not only that, network engineers that uses cluster subnetting can create subnets of different sizes based on the specific requirements of each subnet, and VRSM also allows for better scalability of the network as it can accommodate growth and changes in the logical topology without requiring a complete redesigning of the IP addressing scheme. And lastly, VRSM subnetting allows us to help reducing the network management overhead by simplifying the allocation and management of IP addresses. Okay, now for the addressing table, all of this will be explained in the network configuration. Okay, so I'll pass it to Kendrick.
Right, thank you, Brian. Now I'll be talking about network configuration. We start off with a router with the password configuration. I'll start off by going for the configure terminal. I will then enter the command issue line console 0 and set a password for login to let me in. And the enable password Cisco, and then I will enable the secret, which will be it's a secret, and then I will encrypt all of the 3 passwords above with service password encryption command. And then I'll use the banner after day, which is read authorized access only, and then I'll exit. Now the same thing for the switch, also for password. I will do everything as before with the password, enable secret, service encryption, the banner, and also finally I'll also copy the running config to start config with the purpose of when I reopen this packet tracer, everything will be saved and will be up and running. Now, to make sure that everything has been set confirmed, I will issue a command named show running config, which you then see on the right hand side here. Enable secret, enable password, and the password for login is all encrypted. along with the banner which reads authorized access only. Now moving on, we're talking about the IP configuration for router. Sort of again with configure terminal, I change host name to router 0. For this case, as we are configuring for the first router named router 0. And then we will enter the IP address and subnet mask for interface gigabit 00, 10, 20, and 30. And then I'll issue the command of no shutdown to make sure the link is always up and running. And finally, I'll save all this configuration in from running to startup configuration. And then to make sure everything has been set correctly, I will again issue the show running config command, which will then display on the right hand side here on the screenshot, which will then show us the IP address and subnet mask entered before for gigabit internet 00 all the way to 30. Now the same thing, same config, similar IP configuration for switch. Now the difference between switch and router is that router will not need a default gateway. Now but switch we need to set one. So in order to do that, we will enter configure terminal, followed by I'll issue the command of IP default gateway, and then I will enter the gateway address, which is 192.168.1.1. I'll end the configuration, and then only I'll move on to configure the IP address and subnet mask for interface virtual local area network 1. And then again, no shutdown to make sure the link is always up and running. Then I'll save the running configuration to startup. And then again, I will issue the show running config command to make sure everything is set. You can see on the right hand side here, interface VLAN1, IP address ending 1.2, subnet mask ending 192, and also the default gateway ending 1.1. Moving on to the ping connectivity, I have one example here. Now in this example, I ping from PC1 with IP address ending 1.61 and location A to PC2 with IPv4 address ending 1.126 and location B. It's on the screenshot. You can see that 4 packets are sent from 1.61 to 1.126, and 4 is received back with a total loss of 0%. So this proves that the connection is a good connection and a secure connection. Now moving on, I have another example for you. For example, I can ping from PC1 with the IP address ending 1.61, subnet mask ending 192, and default gateway ending 1.1. I can ping to, let's say, this PC, laptop 0, located at location C, with IP address of ending 190, subnet mask 224, and the default gateway ending of 161. So from PC1, I'll enter the command prompt, and then from the bottom I'll ping 192.168.1 with the laptop 0 IP configuration of 190. Usually for the first time, the first reply will be a request timeout as it hasn't established a good enough connection. So what we do is we will rerun the command, and it should have a 0% loss with 4 packets sent and 4 received, as you can see from the highlighted ones over here. And then finally, we'll move on to the digital resources that we use, which includes Cisco Packet Tracer, YouTube, web browser, Google Meet, PowerPoint, and Facebook. Now, obviously, the use of Cisco Packet Tracer is to create the virtual local area network and to configure all those virtual IP configurations. And then YouTube is used for, firstly, to upload the link of this presentation slide, and also for the use of references from online tutorials. And similar function for the web browser, which we use Google for this one, to access online blogs such as Stack Overflow to get a better understanding of how to do it. Have a blog about opinions from other people. And then we have to use a Google Meet to record this PowerPoint presentation, this assignment presentation. And then we use PowerPoint to create this presentation slide. And finally, Facebook, we will upload this link on the relevant stuff from the assignment to Facebook. And I think that's all. Thank you very much.